Welcome to the Ron Roberts Radio Show with Southeastern's head football coach, Ron Roberts, on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion football. The Ron Roberts Radio Show is sponsored by LA's First Choice Auto Auction, Track, Topola, Bloomberg & Associates, Miele Printing, and the Crescent Bar. Now, live from Topola in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
It seems like just yesterday we were heading to Lafayette to take on the Cajuns in the season opener, and now here we sit just days away from the season finale as our Southeastern Lions prepare to take on Nicholls State this Thursday night in Strawberry Stadium for the annual Riverbell Classic. This will be the 27th meeting between Nicholls State and Southeastern, and the series is tied at 13 games apiece. There's a lot on the line in this game as our Lions are looking to finish the season above 500 and send our senior class out on a high note. Not to mention, keep the Riverbell Trophy in Hammond for the 5th time in the last 6 years. For Nicholls, they enter this game at 8-2 and squarely on the bubble for the FCS playoffs, so certainly this game is important for both programs, and we look forward to a great matchup on Thursday night. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to the Ron Roberts Radio Show live from our home, Topola Catering, right here at 113 East Thomas Street in downtown Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock. Over the next hour, we'll get Coach Roberts' thoughts on the Colonels. We'll recognize the 2017 seniors, and then take your questions in our Ask the Coach segment. Let's take a timeout. When we return, I'll be joined by the head coach of your Southeastern Lions, Ron Roberts. Listen to the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest, Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles, it's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
What does it mean to be Southland strong?
It's not just big wins.
It's success in the classroom
and being engaged with service,
family, passion,
integrity,
overcoming adversity,
hard work and dedication,
bettering people around you,
striving for excellence,
leadership and competition
on our campuses
and in our communities.
We are Southland strong.
All right, welcome back to Topola Catering. Thank you so much for joining us, the Ron Roberts Radio Show, preparing for the 2017 season finale this Thursday night as our Lions will take on Nicholls State in the Riverbell Classic. It's a 6 o'clock kickoff at Strawberry Stadium. At this time, we're going to welcome to the show the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Ron Roberts. Coach, thanks for being here. A little bit different week this week. We talked about it on last week's show as kind of a strange time of the year for the bye week after Week 10, but certainly gave you a few extra days to get ready for the Colonels this Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, it did come at an unusual time. We're going to have the same time next year. It's going to be the same situation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it probably came up a pretty needed time. Our guys needed the break, and it was great for us to get out on the road recruiting, got my guys out, and we saw a lot of prospects, so it was a real productive week.
That was going to be, my follow-up question to that is I know you talked about it last week, being able to get your coaches out there. I don't really know at this time of the year. I know you're getting to see some high school playoff games, but is junior college playing right now as well? How does that work?
Yeah, most of them wrapped up their seasons, I guess, probably Saturday, and now they're just the ones only practicing, or ones getting ready for bowl games. Yep. So
there you have it. As Lions were on bye week this past week, and as you heard, so in 2018, we'll have the bye week in Week 10 again. And really for this, if you're going to keep playing Nicholls State on Thursday night, it's a good time for the bye because you're coming off of extra days of practice. They just played Saturday on the road in Nacogdoches, Texas against Stephen F. Austin. Now they have to turn around on a short week, and you don't.
Right, yeah. Again, you'd love to have the bye week in an ideal situation, but hey, a lot of things aren't ideal. I mean, you don't get it, say, hey, here's the best time I'd like to have it, and let's do it then. But you just don't have the luxury a lot of time, it's trying to schedule, so if we did that, if we didn't, the way our conference schedule works out, we'd be having a bye week either week 1 or week 2 of the season, which that's real early anyway. You don't want it there.
Ron, I know that we talked about it last week. You currently sit at 5-5. Had some real close games this year. Didn't go our way, but a lot on the line this week. I mean, obviously the senior class. It's senior night there in Strawberry Stadium. Also the Riverboat Classic, but also an opportunity to get above 500 and send yourself into the off season with some momentum. Talk about all the things that's on the line this week.
Yeah, well, it's a great week. Rivalry game. This is what college football is all about. You get to play an in-state, especially an in-state rival. You get so playing for a trophy. We have a chance to play for River Bell. So to me, this is what really what you go to college for, to play in these type of ball games. And our guys are excited about that. And it just our season didn't go exactly as we wanted. We'd like to have the opportunity to continue to play. I still believe. I think we're one of the. I think you can put us up there. I think we're one of the 10 best teams in the country. I mean, I think we can compete with anybody. But we've got to go get it done on the field here.
Ron, I know that you probably had a chance to look back at some of these games. We're going to talk about this more throughout the hour as we're with you until 8 o'clock. But I know that it's always kind of the $1 million question. Have you put your finger on? I know that there's just been some close games this year that just didn't go our way, and we mentioned it. Right now we're sitting at 5-5, probably 4 or 5 plays away from maybe being 8-2 or 9-1.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, going in this week, with our kids, all we can do is focus on the things that, we're going to put our lasting impression really on our fans for 2017 season. We get to do that at home. We get to do it in a game versus a rivalry game. So it's going to be an exciting football game. This is an exciting week. It's an exciting football game. Hopefully everybody comes out Thursday night and gets send these seniors off in a great fashion as well. But it should be a great football game. It really should be a great football game, and I don't think anybody wants to miss this one.
No, not at all. And it's certainly getting a lot of recognition from the local media as well. Out of the New Orleans area as well, because Nicholls, they've had certainly a turnaround. They're sitting at 8-2, an opportunity to get in the FCS playoffs. I'm sure they feel if they come in here and get a win and get to 9-2, that would almost punch their ticket to play in the postseason. I know there's some different projections and things out there, but certainly it's a big game this Thursday night, an opportunity to be showcased. I know we've kind of talked about this every year, but this is a game that has been played now historically on Thursday night. I mean, do you like the Thursday night game? It's an opportunity to play on campus, but it really gives you an opportunity to be kind of the showcase game. There'll be a lot of people watching this game on Thursday night.
Yeah, I don't know. I got mixed feelings. I mean, I know that the history of it has been played on Thursday night, and that's great. Some of that I think that maybe, and I talked to Coach Rebo about it too, is I think we need to look at probably playing it on, if we played it on a Saturday, I think both of our crowds would be better. I think last couple. He was down there last year. Wasn't thought they would have, if they would have played us on a Saturday, their home crowd would have been a lot better. So we'll see. I mean, if our students show up and they come out, and hopefully they do, because Thursday night it's on campus. It matter that just getting out there in a great turnout. It's a great game. It's a great rivalry game. You just want to be able to play in front of the crowd that this game probably deserves.
I agree. And it's funny that you say that. Talking about attendance and things that on Thursday night, I cannot tell you how many times I've been told, man, why doesn't Southeastern play more games on Thursday night? Well, here's your opportunity. If you're listening to me right there, games on Thursday night, come on out. This Thursday, it's a lot on the line. Southeastern looking to get a big victory against Nicholls State. I'm sure they're going to bring a big crowd. Again, this is the best team they've had in a while, and an opportunity for them to get in the playoffs. So the last time they were here was a crazy. Really, the last few times we played, it's been crazy games. They won on a walk-off field goal there in 2015 in a game where they came from behind. Then a year ago, we had the big lead. They kind of had a flurry there at the end of the ball game. So every time these two teams have got together, it's been pretty big games. In 2013, we beat them at home to win the conference championship. Same thing in 2014 over there on the road. So this game's always a little bit wild and a little fun, certainly between these two programs.
Yeah, and I think that's really what you kind of want to make it a rivalry game. It needs to be a close, competitive ball game. It needs to be something that's exciting to watch, and that's what makes great rivalries what they are. And I think the last couple of years we've kind of shown that's what this game has turned into. So I'm expecting a good football game again. I think, especially when you're talking about at the stake, I think if they beat us, I think they deserve to go to the playoffs. I mean, I think if they finish that record, I think that there's no question, in my opinion, I think they deserve to go. For that reason, there's a lot for us to play for. There's nothing better than probably keeping your rivals out of the playoffs.
I know. If you talk to a lot of the older Lion fans, this is the one that they really circle on the a lot of the former players, and know that they say, I don't like McNeese, I don't like Northwestern, but I really don't like Nicholls, and certainly want to keep these guys out of the playoffs, certainly if we have the opportunity to do that. Ron, I do think the conference has done a pretty good job of playing in these last games. They have these rivalry matchups. Kind of talk about the importance of a trophy game like this. We have the Riverbell Trophy playing for. I mentioned in the Open, beat those guys 4 out of the last 5 years. The only time they won was actually the last time they were in Strawberry Stadium in 2015. But certainly, like you said, these kind of games is what college football is all about.
Yeah, I think so. I think these trophy games, I think playing the rivalry games, if we're playing with something on the line, especially when it's in-state, I can't believe it gets any better than that. I think that this is why, this would have made college football special.
Not only in-state, about an hour and 10 minutes away, so it's really close, certainly, logistically here for the game. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back, we're going to have more right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show, the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Renday's Quick Stop is a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics. Located at 306 West University Avenue in Hammond, right across the street from campus, Renday's is conveniently open 24/7 and serves hot Greek and Lebanese food. They also have great snacks for those late-night study sessions. They have friendly service and a wide assortment of wine and beer for all your needs. Stop by today and line up.
Miele Printing of Covington is a proud sponsor of Southeastern football. Miele Printing is one of the largest commercial printing companies in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge metro areas. Currently celebrating 30 years of service to their customers and community, Miele Printing offers both digital and offset printing. For more information on Miele Printing, please visit mieleprinting.com or visit them at 619 North Tyler Street in Covington.
Remember, our philosophy is the answer is yes. So what's the questions? All right, Lion fans, let's line up.
All right, welcome back to the Ron Roberts Radio Show. Here as we're getting you ready for the season finale in 2017 as your Lions will take on the Nicholls State Colonels in the Riverbell Classic. It's a 6 o'clock kick on Thursday night in Hammond at Strawberry Stadium. I know I've had some questions come in. I talked to JRT's today, athletic director, and he told me that the tailgating area will be open at 4 o'clock, so you can get in at 4 o'clock. So because they do have school on Thursday, so you're going to have to get in there. But about 4 o'clock it'll open, so you can get your normal parking and get in there for the game. As that's what I'm being told for the 6 o'clock kickoff. That's another thing, talk about Thursday night. There's some logistic problems in there. It's because it is still a campus, and people are still going to school during the day. As Lions will play this Thursday night at home at Strawberry Stadium. Coach, we mentioned it. This is the final game of the year at home. You're going to have a senior day. That's always a big thing. So you want to get in there for Storm 30 minutes before the game at 5:30. I know they usually have a presentation. They will have a presentation for these seniors. And this has been a good senior class with a lot of really good players in it. And I know that certainly would be nice to send them out on a high note.
Oh, yeah. It's always great. Anytime your seniors, when they get done, it's kind of, a bittersweet moment. There's some kids that you build a relationship with. There's kids that our fans become fond of. There's kids that coaches, we become fond of. And you hate to see them go. It's, sometimes, it feels like it ends too early and they're already out of here. But and there's several guys in here that are fifth year. There's fifth-year seniors have been around, the Ryan Seegers, the Courtney Rutledge, almost probably Travis Romero, Michael Vick. I'm probably going to miss a couple in there, but, there's several in there that have been around for a while. So really want to honor these guys. And what a great way to send them out in the Riverbell. If we get the W, that would be huge to send them out. But sad to see those guys go anyway. They're great players, great young men, and looking forward to seeing them all graduate and take care of business and move on with their lives.
One thing I always think is so special about athletics, especially, if you look at this roster, you got a lot of guys from a lot of different walks of life, come from a lot of different parts of the country to come here to Southeastern and play, and just to see the camaraderie they have as a group together, and it's sad to see them play for the last time, but hopefully they're going to come out and play well. And you mentioned some really good players, some guys that have been great players here for Southeastern. You just look up and down these senior lists, and it kind of jumps out with the two guys that wear number 1. Juwan Dickey, also Max Lyons, two guys on both sides of the football that have made major impacts here for your club over the last couple of years. Yeah, both of those obviously started off. Those guys done a fascinating job. There's several seniors, and again, they've done great things. But Juwan has been a great receiver here for 2 years, and obviously been a huge part of our offense and put up a lot of numbers, made some huge catches in front of our fans, and made some big plays at some big opportune times. Yeah, you look at Max Lyons, what he's done this year as a defensive back, also returning kicks. Certainly had a great senior year. I know you always post a lot of that stuff on social media, though, about you need your seniors to have big senior years. I think a lot of those guys have certainly done that. Yeah, again, that's what that's what you want out of them. Again, the better your seniors play, and really it's not the better, but you want them to have at least have their best year of their career. And for most of those guys, you can say that. Most of them, I think they've had fascinating careers. They've had fascinating senior years, their senior campaign, played their best football out there. You talk about going out list and go to number 2, Ryan Seegers. I thought by far he's had his best year. It's been his senior year. He's been real productive. There's been a lot of guys, as you go down the list, several of them, I think, have played their best football. Man, it seems like Ryan Seegers has been playing here forever. I can't remember him still in 2014 as a corner, as a true freshman playing on that field, and playing a lot of quality snaps on the conference championship team as well. And, I know there's a couple of guys we've talked about all year. And a lot of these guys are on the defensive side of the football. A lot of defensive seniors this year, if you look at it. I know we've talked about, and this is another reason you want to come out this Thursday night. So this is the last time you'll get to see these guys, wear the green and gold here for Southeastern. But, we've talked a lot about him this year. But Sione's had a fantastic year. He's one of the top guys in the nation for sacks, tackles for loss. Also, Maori Ellison, on the defensive side of the football. And I think both of those guys, you've mentioned it several times this year, both might have an opportunity to continue playing at the next level. Yeah, I think they definitely both will. I think Sione's going to have an opportunity to possibly get drafted. You don't know how to get into that process, and when they get the true evaluations done and all that, as you get closer, you have somewhat of an idea. But I would suspect that Maori's going to get into camp as well. I imagine he'll be in somebody's camp in the next spring. A couple of guys just kind of going through the list. I just want to make sure we recognize everybody because, again, a lot of guys that put it, as a college athlete, if you haven't done it, it's certainly a ton of time and ton of effort as you put into your craft. Darius Terrell is a senior. We've seen him have, a lot of carries as well as at the running back position. Also, Micah Thomas had the start earlier this year at quarterback at UCA. I thought Jake Giannone, he's had a fantastic year. He kind of, was nicked up a little bit last year in his first year, but I thought he's had a tremendous year in the middle of the field.
Yeah, missed probably half the season last year because of a high ankle sprain. Missed the first half of the season, probably doesn't start to play until about game 5 or 6. Came in, played really well in this ball game last year versus Nichols. But he's played really well this year. Been real consistent, kind of been the quarterback over there on defense, getting things up, making the checks. Been a tremendous leader over there for us, done a great job.
I mentioned Maori Ellison earlier. Obviously, had a fantastic year. Eugene Buffet, a guy that it seems like he's been here a long time as well. Yeah. Kind of waited his turn behind some really good backs. Got off the season with a great start. Then he had the broken hand, but still, he had a really good year here this year. It's not over. We still got a big game Thursday night, but certainly somebody we'll get to see carry the football on Thursday night. Yeah,
looking forward to him. Hopefully, have a big game on Thursday. It would be huge for him. Again, great young man. Started out his career probably his redshirt freshman year was, and that conference championship run was the guy that did most of the cleanup work late in ball games. Kind of missed last year, didn't play a whole lot. This year comes in, had a little ball security problem as a junior, so just got left down on the depth chart, and turned around, had a great spring and just kind of emerges as our guy. Wish he would have been healthy. I think you could have really seen him have a special year if he would have been healthy all season long.
I'm going down the roster here and letting you comment. One guy I missed here was is Jeff Williams. I think he's had a really good year at safety as well, because he's been playing almost all the snaps. You talked about earlier this year with Demarie Lane, who was hurt a lot, and he was really those two guys were going to rotate, and Jeff's been playing almost every snap of the season.
I think he's played great. I really do. I think he's played a fascinating job as a senior. Just done an unbelievable job back there. I really appreciate everything he's done, the type of work ethic he's put into playing the position.
Dylan Burkhart's a guy that transferred in at the kicker position, really just kicked off a year ago. He won the job kicking field goals this year, and he's really had a nice year. I know he's one of the top guys in the nation as far as scoring, and also I think he has the most PATs in the nation. I'm going to look that up, but he has had a really good year kicking the football for you as well.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Again, I think he's perfect on the year for PATs, and need to keep that up for one more, and just done a fascinating job for us. And didn't kick a lot of field goals this year, just because, especially in there's that 5-game stretch there where we scored a lot of touchdowns and really didn't kick field goals. But he's been tremendously accurate. I think inside when you especially get him inside 45, he's really accurate. But he's got a leg; he can hit it. I think he hit one tonight at practice at 49. He's got the leg to do that for us.
This is the Ron Roberts Radio Show as getting you ready for the season finale this Thursday night as our Lions will take on Nicholls State, 6 o'clock kickoff for the Riverbell Classic. As it's senior night, we're just talking about some of these seniors that have really played well here for Southeastern. You got Jonathan Lyles, a senior defensive back, Torrance Mosley, who's really been a key contributor the last couple of years, transferred in out of TCU, but he's from Dutchtown down there in Geismar. Courtney Rutledge, he's a guy he's been a big special teams player here for South. He's made a lot of big plays in his career.
Yeah, he has. He's been a really solid special teams guy for several years. Done an excellent job, and at times put a heavy load there at corner and went in and did a tremendous job. And great character guy for your program, just tremendous job, great representative out of Slidell.
I know that Demarie Lane, I mentioned him earlier. He had I remember in 2015, you were shorthanded at linebacker, moved in linebacker. He's really been battling injuries though this year as well.
Yeah, he missed probably the full, almost first 5 weeks, missed all fall camp. I think he got about 4 practices in, and then missed about 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Hate to see that. That's the tough part. You got a couple seniors that missed quite a bit. When you talk about Demarie Lane, finishing right now, he's playing. Cyrus Akigwam, offensive tackle, starting right tackle, didn't play down this year. Went a seventh day of fall camp, and had some problems. They diagnosed him with some type of disorder. It was affecting his kidneys. Anytime he was inactive, anytime he got overactive, his kidneys were shutting down. and that's what it really was. I really don't know what it's called right now. So, but it was something that was a lot more important than that he not play football as opposed to.
He's a really good player too.
He was a great player.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a great player, and really missed him a lot. Coming into the season, but. We had some other guys step in the job and picked up and did a great job, but we really missed him. Obviously he was probably our best offensive lineman coming in the season. Played right and left tackle, could do both. We hated to miss him, but he's going to graduate in December. That's a positive note there, and several of these other guys will obviously graduate in December as well. I know Jeff Williams will graduate in December. Damari Lane will graduate in December. Courtney Rutledge will graduate in December. Ryan Seegers will graduate in December. So.
Lee Spites had a really good year. This is his second year, transferred in Hutchinson Community College. He's had a good year at the linebacker position as well. Really, all three of those linebackers, Giannone, Sione, and Lee Spite have really had great seasons.
Yeah, they have. That'll be a pretty heavy hit for that at the linebacker position in recruiting. We know we got some guys here again that played, and they're gonna have to step up, obviously, take a huge role coming in the spring. But you want those guys really, hopefully, those guys have had great years, and you want them to see them have a great night Thursday night against their in-state rival.
Ron, I would think, Michael Vick, who he's been here, came out of Broadmoor High School out of Baton Rouge, kind of an undersized offensive lineman. Yeah. Man, he really turned himself into a really good college football player. I mean, I think he's got to be one of the big success stories in this class as a guy that has become one of the leaders on the team, and certainly it's been a joy to watch him. He plays just being on there with you guys on the sideline for the games. He just plays with a lot of passion. Again, probably the smallest offensive lineman we have, 6 foot, 290 pounds, but maybe plays the hardest.
Yeah, he does a tremendous job. You gotta love the story of Michael Vick. He's just kind of throwback, just a worker guy that just done a tremendous job getting himself prepared to play. And one thing, he does well. He plays football really well. He's going to graduate in May. He's going to be one class short after December, so he's got to take one class in the spring to get graduated. But that's a success story too, obviously. And he's had a really, last year broke his ankle. And didn't get to finish the season, but came back from that this year and has had a great year.
Paxton Sims on the offensive line as well, a senior from Ackerman, Mississippi. Travis Romero, you mentioned him earlier. He's a fifth-year senior. He's been a really good player. He's played guard, played center, been one of those utility guys as well. You mentioned Cyrus Equigum, who hasn't played this year, which is unfortunate. Obviously was a really good player here at Southeastern. It's a big senior class. When you go through this thing and you look at some of the names, Greg Hardaway, I know he's played some quality snaps on the defensive line. And, I think one thing that jumps out when you look at this class, and the reason we wanted to talk about them tonight is certainly a lot of really good players, and they deserve to go out in style and have a big game on Thursday night, and certainly that's the goal. And the other question I was going to ask you, and since you've been here, part of your philosophy, obviously you're going to sign a lot of high school kids. You bring in transfers from junior colleges, FBS schools, kind of a nice mix all along the way. And it seems like every year we have a big senior class because you always seem like you have a lot of veterans on your football team.
Yeah, and that's part of it. I mean, really, this is something you probably don't get a whole lot of time to talk about, but that's the one thing about the average graduation rate from the university when high school kids come in is in the 30%. That means 3 out of 10 usually when they come in as freshmen are going to stick it out for 4 years and graduate from that.
You're talking about, so just to clarify, you're talking about freshmen that come in to school or to come in to play football?
Come into school. To school, and I'm talking about nationwide attrition. It's in the 30%. So when you talk about in football, it's getting about actually. I think the last thing I heard was 50. There's like 59%.
Okay.
Nationwide. That's what it is.
So if you start college as a football player, 59%. That's not Southeastern. That's nationwide.
We're in an era which everybody knows. We're in an era of I want it and I want it now. If I don't start here, I want to look for another place. If I don't get what I want here, I want to go to another place, and that's where we're at. And one of the things is your graduation rate does increase because most times when they come in from junior colleges, they have a tendency they'll graduate because they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. There's graduation. Here it is. And those guys graduate usually over the 90 percentile. So it's when you want those upperclassmen, because I believe that's what you win with. You win with juniors and seniors. Playing their best football that's out there. And that's one reason to make sure, because sometimes if you get a freshman class and sometimes they don't stick, because like I'm gonna say like our 14 freshman class, I think we lost 7 of them already. In that class, when those guys should be sitting there playing junior, senior ball, and they're not there. One reason or another, they either didn't do well in school, or like I said, they would look for the quick fix and opportunity to get on the field sooner. And you've got to be able to fill those things in with guys like that, whether the JC or transfers guys, so you're not having to play true freshmen on the field because a true freshman on the field, as a kid's pretty special if he can do that. And usually you're not in that situation where usually if your true freshman's playing, it's because you're probably not very good at that position.
Yeah, we've had some guys do it this year, but certainly it seems like all those guys that have come in and played at true freshman, they weren't necessarily the guy,
right.
But they'd come in and they fill roles, but certainly that's building depth for years to come.
Yeah, we got 9 freshmen that have been playing for us this year. That's going to be huge. It's going to pay off. See, that'll pay off down the road. The same thing we got to do. Stay on them, make sure they go into class, take care of their business, and help them grow up and become men. That'll be huge. That'll be a huge asset to the program, because that's what it is. It's about retention. It's keeping kids in your program nowadays.
No doubt about it. Certainly, it's nice to be playing at the end of the year with a bunch of guys that are 21 and 22 and not 18 and 19. So,
right.
That's got to be the part of the philosophy.
Yeah, no doubt. It really is. Usually when you're playing with kids that haven't started shaving yet, you're going to have some problems.
No doubt about it. I'm sure that everybody listening made a big jump between the time you were 18 and the time you were 21 years old. No doubt. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to have more here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest, Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles, it's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
Miele Printing of Covington is a proud sponsor of Southeastern football. Miele Printing is one of the largest commercial printing companies in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge metro areas. Currently celebrating 30 years of service to their customers and community, Miele Printing offers both digital and offset printing. For more information on Miele Printing, please visit mieleprinting.com or visit them at 619 North Tyler Street in Covington.
Remember, our philosophy is the answer is yes. So what's the questions? All right, Lion fans, let's line up.
NCAA Division I FCS football is a game of perseverance, integrity, passion, character, and sportsmanship. As he works to honor the game, every FCS student-athlete grows in his responsibilities as a student and as a member of his campus and community. Dedicated to personal growth and success in the classroom, the NCAA Division I FCS, every down, every day.
All right, welcome back to the Ron Roberts Radio Show here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. I want to thank Topla Catering for being our host here in 2017. They've done a tremendous job. We also want to thank all of our viewers that watch us each and every week on Facebook. I know I've got a lot
They
of
watch
people.
me eat cake.
Yeah, see, as you can see, they got cake.
Yeah.
Ron,
I want to thank you people.
I had to kind of elaborate right there because Ron was still trying to swallow his cake and his ice cream when we were coming back from the break.
The commercial didn't go long enough.
I know, as they always bring him that big piece of cake out here at Topolai Caring. Also, I want to remind you that the Southeastern men's basketball and women's basketball teams have gotten underway. I know the Lions, under Coach Jay Ladner, are taking on Tulane tonight down inside in New Orleans. That's the games in the first half down there in Tulane as Southeastern takes on the Tulane Green Wave tonight. Our Lion football team wraps up their 2017 season this Thursday night in Strawberry Stadium. It's a 6 o'clock kickoff in Strawberry Stadium for the Riverboat Classic. The game will be televised on CST and also on ESPN3. I know a lot of people have asked. I know that sometimes CST blocks the game, blacks it out for people that are here, so you have to come to the game to watch it. I know that on ESPN3, if you it blocks you, but if you watch it on your cell phone, it works. So I know that there's some people that were asking those questions as well. Certainly, it's the finale of the 2017 season. And, Ron, I know we've talked about this a lot, and I kind of want to look back a little bit before we get to the Nichols game a little bit. As it's been kind of a strange year. You know, you start out the year 0-3. Drop a heartbreaker at UL Lafayette, go for 2, a chance to win the game with really no time left on the clock. Come back home, dealing with some injuries, didn't have Lorenzo Nunez, drop a tough one to Bethune-Cookman, who's actually turned out to have a pretty good season. And then obviously you have to go up there and take on UCA, who's sitting at number 3 in the nation. Not the start you started, but then you got hot and won 5 in a row. So it's kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster here in 2017, up and down. Had some low moments and also had some high moments as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably sum it up. I think this is a team that really did. We faced some adversity, you know, at that point, I thought, you know, 0-3. You know, we faced some adversity there, you know, in the first couple ball games, and I thought I was proud of the way our kids kept pushing. You know, I mean, they kept practicing hard. They kept, you know, trying to get in better. You know, rattled off some wins, and then, you know, I mean, I think they've done, like I said, I've said it many times, I think they've done everything we asked them to do. I'm proud of this group. I think they worked their tails off. I think they're a bunch of great kids and are great young men. And, you know, one of the things I was telling coaches is the saddest thing about it me is that there's some seniors going in this class that, you know, probably haven't experienced the opportunity to go to the playoffs, and that's one thing you kind of want to be able to give them the opportunity to do that, and we didn't get it done. But you know, we got to move forward, and you know, that's the diversity part of it. And you know, I think this group, hopefully, will be able to take the lessons learned in that adversity and things happen, and be able to apply it the rest of their lives, and know how they're going to handle situations. And because if they do the same thing most of the time, they're going to have success for the next 40 years. So that part, I'm proud of our kids for that, and I want to come out and really just see them play the best football game that we played all season long on Thursday night.
Certainly have that opportunity on Thursday as Nichols State comes to town. I'm sure they're going to bring a nice crowd over here from Thibodaux. A lot on the line for those guys. I think they're bringing their band as well, so ought to be a nice atmosphere for college football on Thursday night. And Ron, you just mentioned it. You talk about playoffs, and I'm not trying to, you know, on this show act like the season's over, because it's not. I mean, obviously we have a big game on Thursday night, but I guess the question is, you know, 7-4 a year ago, sitting at 5-5, a chance to get in 6-5. I know that playoffs is the goal, conference championships are the goal. I guess how close were we? I mean, this year, how close are we to getting back to that point?
Right now, no, I think we have the talent. I think we're a couple plays away, really. I mean, that's what I can say. I think you know. It doesn't have to be in the last 2 weeks. I mean, I think if we find a way to get Bethune-Cookman, and you know, heck, when we get the Lafayette win, heck, we're sitting there, you know, right now at 7 wins, trying to get 8, and opportunity, and we're in the playoffs. You know, you can really say that, or you can go back to the last 2 weeks and say there's plays there. You know, I think we're talented enough. I really like our attitude. I think we have we got back, though we didn't get the success on the field, but I think we got back to the work ethic and stuff that we needed to get to have a championship level team. And you know, I just think we just missed it. We just fell short. So I think we got a good core group coming back, and the best thing we can do is get the W. You know, that win kind of propels you for the next 9 months and kind of sets a tone for your off-season program and everything. And you know, it's all about sending the seniors out. That's great. Yeah, that's one part of it. The other part is for these underclassmen. This is the first step into 2018, and let's end this thing on the right note to send a positive for the next 9 months going into the offseason.
And a ranked opponent coming in.
Right.
An opportunity to have. That was going to be my next statement. Is you have a chance to have so much momentum going into the offseason. I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah, it would be a huge win. I just want to, like I said, I want to see her come out and play our best football. Let's go play flawless. Let's go do it. I mean, there's not one after this, so you're not saving it for anybody. We need to, put it all on the line, put all, whatever you want to say, push all our chips are on the table. We're playing for it all. So I'm looking forward to see how our guys respond to that.
Ron, this has been a little bit of a different show than our normal one because we didn't have a game to talk about last week. Just kind of getting your opinion on a couple of different things, and I want to ask you about the Southland Conference just for a moment. It looks like if UCA and Sam Houston win their final game, that they'll be national seeds in the playoffs. Yep. McNeese will be favored over Lamar, a chance to go 9-2. We talked about Nichols already having 8 wins, an opportunity for the league to get several teams in playoff bids, and I think that's good for the league. I mean, I think the league this year, in my opinion, and again, I'm not coaching in the league, I'm just watching as a fan, I feel like the league was so much better this year than it was a year ago, and I think some of those programs are getting a lot better every year, and I think that can only help us moving forward.
Oh yeah, I think the conference is getting better every year. I think definitely. You can look into, I don't know if our fans know, but last week's score, Abilene was up on Sam Houston in the fourth quarter
like 4
by
minutes
7.
Left.
Yeah, with 4 minutes to go in the game, they're up by 7. That's kind of consistent though with the Southland Conference. In the past, you can say whatever. I mean, there are some teams that kind of fallen short, but majority of the time, every Saturday, anybody can beat anybody. There's a bunch of teams that can come out and be competitive. There is a lot of comparison across the board. The talent level difference is not much. Right. I mean, it's not a whole lot of difference between the top teams and the whatever from 1 to 8. There's not a big difference. It's 1 or 2 players, and that's why again, really in this conference, majority of what you see is it don't matter who's playing who. At the halftime, it's going to be close.
Yep.
It's going to be tight, And then what happens is the person with the most depth and things like that, or somebody steps up and makes a play here and there, and they pull away. But I like where our conference is going. I like the competitiveness of it. I like seeing the teams getting better. As a conference, we've got to do a better job of in playing those out-of-conference opponents and doing better early on in the season. When we do better at that, that's obviously going to increase our reputation as for national seeds and those things, and a chance to get consistently hopefully get 3 teams in on a consistent basis. That would be huge. Yeah,
and that's been one of the knocks of when the league expanded. When you added Abilene, you added Incarnate Word, you added Houston Baptist. When you go back to 2013, 2014. We were getting 3 teams in pretty regularly, and then since the conference has expanded, we've gone down to only 2 teams getting in the last couple of years. So hopefully that mold will break this year and get some more teams in, because that's what it's all about. Because, I saw somebody from the conference put out, and I agree with it. You take our top 5 teams, and I'll take it against anybody in the country. I think that there's that good of football being played in this league week in and week out.
I agree with that. I mean, I think, no question. That's why I would say that, I think, again, a lot of that goes in the playoffs is really depending on it's not always it's who gets hot in November, and the teams that are playing really good football right now, and I haven't seen Central Arkansas in the last couple of weeks. I can't see it because I haven't seen them cross tape at all. We played Sam recently. We played McNeese recently, and I believe they're both playoff teams. No, there's no question. Those 2 are definitely playoff teams. They both got the talent level, and they're playing at a high level right now.
So the Lions will take on Nicholls State this Thursday night in the River Bell Classic. As I know that it's kind of hard to believe. I know there's a lot of new coaches in the league. You're the longest tenured coach in the Southland Conference. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that was fast, huh?
Yeah, it was fast. A lot of new coaches. Ron's the longest tenured coach in the Southland Conference here at Southeastern. Let's go ahead and take our final break. When we come back, we're going to preview Nicholls State as the Lions will take on the Colonels this Thursday night, and then we'll have our Ask the Coach segment, and we'll wrap it up here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Renday's Quick Stop is a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics. Located at 306 West University Avenue in Hammond, right across the street from campus, Renday's is conveniently open 24/7 and serves hot Greek and Lebanese food. They also have great snacks for those late night study sessions. They have friendly service and a wide assortment of wine and beer for all your needs. Stop by today and line up.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, Ron, wrap it up. I know you're eating that cake there. Get your headset back on. It's the Ron Roberts Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us.
There's some things that are more important, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got official word that there's been some questions that we will have a show next week. So we're going to wrap up the Nichols game next week and wrap up the season. So this will not be the finale, as we will have a show next Monday night right here at Topolak Catering. So you can come on out or listen right here on the network as well. Ron, let's talk about the Colonels for just a moment. I know we've talked about it seems like everything here tonight over the last 45 minutes or so, but certainly a big game this Thursday night. Nichols comes in. Ranked 17th in one poll, 25th in the other. They're currently sitting at 8-2, 7-1 in the Southland Conference. The overall series is 13-13, so 26 meetings, and it's been split right down the middle. This will be the 27th meeting in Hammond. Southeastern leads the overall series 6-5. In Thibodaux, Nichols 7-5. And if you're adding that up right there, say, hey, that doesn't equal that many games. Well, that's because they used to play this game in the Superdome, so that's why there's a few neutral site matchups in there as well. Last meeting, Lions knocked off Nichols State 44-42 in a wild one. Last year down there in Thibodaux, as it was certainly a good football game as well. Like I said, Nichols 8-2. Their only two losses on the year are on the road at Sam Houston State and on the road at Texas A&M. Knocked off McNeese State back in week 1. This is a program that's gotten a lot better over the last few years under Coach Tim Rebowe, just to call it like it wasn't very competitive until the last couple of years, and since he's gotten there, it certainly got a lot more competitive, and ought to be a great matchup. Talk about the Colonels a little bit, what they're doing well, and why their record is what it is at this point.
Well, they're well coached. I mean, that's one thing, definitely. They're a well coached football team. He's done a great job there. Just the organization and structure, the way they're doing things. They're not making a lot of mistakes. Offensively, again, they're a little, multiple spread team. They're going to throw it. But he's going to run the ball. I mean, the same thing. They're not just coming out airing the ball out. He's going to try to run it. They actually rushed for 400 yards on SFA last week. So that's the first, obviously, thing comes to mind. We've got to be able to stop. We've got to be able to stop them from running the football. Last year on us, they popped 3 big runs. Kind of kept them in the game. We're up 14-0. Then almost 3 consecutive drives. They went down as 21-14.
Yeah, last year's game was certainly a game of runs. It was a game of runs. We jumped out. They came back. Then we went out big, and they came back and made it. I think the game ended on a Hail Mary, didn't it? They
ended on a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
We were up with a minute and 40 on the clock. We were up by 14 points.
Yeah, I remember.
And it ends up going in the last second. They're throwing the ball down the field with an opportunity to win it. So, again, exciting ball game to watch. Not much fun to sit on the sidelines and coach that one.
I'm sure, as well. But then I know defensively, they get after you defensively, and that's kind of been one of the things they've done here the last couple
they're playing really good defense. Again, that's what kind of starts. You want to, turn things around. You got to play really good defense, and you got to find someone how to run the football. I think defensively, that's what kind of same thing. They're, a lot of odd front. They will bring some pressure, but they're just playing. They're playing really aggressive right now. The kids play hard and they tackle well in space, and those simple things that sometimes are boring for fans to hear, but that's it. Nothing special they're doing. They're just playing pretty consistent and haven't given up a lot of big plays. We're going to have to. We're going to have to go in there and be able to, like I said, run the football on them and find ways to run it and find opportunities and, to create some one-on-ones. And then once we do that, we got to be able to hit them over the top and get some big passes in the passing game.
One thing that they have done this year, if you look up and down their schedules, they've won some close games.
Yeah, they have.
The first game of the year, they kicked a field goal in the last play of the game to knock off McNeese State. A couple of weeks ago against Houston Baptist, probably a closer game than most people thought it would be. They actually have to throw a pass on the last play of the game to beat Houston Baptist. So they've been in some tight games, and they've played well in those games and won them at the end.
Yeah, they did. That goes to take where his kids are right now. Obviously, they're playing hard for him, and like I said, that's probably the most noticeable thing on it, that they are. They play hard, and they're playing with some confidence. They've got their W's now, and they've got some wins behind their back. They believe in what they're doing, and they're playing hard.
Ron, one of the things that Nichols has done certainly is a year ago they handed the keys to Chase Forcade as a true freshman out of Rummel High School. I know he's a good player. He, obviously has a good pedigree. A lot of people in the state of Louisiana know that last name,
right.
From his uncle and John Forcade. But I know he's really their leader offensively. Talk about what he does and what makes him tough to defend on the defensive side of football.
Best thing about him is I think he's a great competitor. The kid competes. He does have the ability, and probably does. The other thing he does is when he drops back to throw the ball, he can't get out of the pocket. When he does that, he throws really well when he does that. So he gets out, everything breaks down on him, and he can extend a play outside, get outside, and be able to find an open guy down the field and throw the football. That's probably one of the better things he does. He's not a big, tall quarterback. I think sometimes when the pocket claps on him, he has a tough time seeing. That's one reason he gets out. But when he does get out, he is looking to throw the football, and he's pretty accurate when he's out there on the run, when he goes in scramble mode.
Lions will take on Nicholls State this Thursday night. As let's do our Ask the Coach segment real quick. As you can send in questions here to myself. You go to lionsports.net. You click on football, and you can go to Ask the Coach, and we'll read them right here aloud to Coach Roberts. Coach, first of all, coming in tonight says Denny from Tickfall says, Coach, can you comment on your senior linebackers and what they have brought in leadership this year?
Yeah, I think all three of them have an outstanding year. And they've all at times, kind of outshined each other to have big-time games. But I think all three of them at one time or another have been our player of the week, defensive player of the week for us. They played extremely consistent. They're guys that, know what we're doing. They're playing like seniors, not making a lot of mistakes. They grade pretty consistently every week. And that really helps early, because I don't know if early on in the season, we talked about earlier that we were real young up front on the defensive line. And they did a great job of getting those guys caught up and helping them to get lined up and where they're supposed to go. And at times, had to cover for them early. But then those guys caught them about week 3, 4. They started playing really well. And then that allowed those linebackers more to run and make plays and do some things. And kind of really that does play in our – I think we're playing our best defense the last couple of ball games. And that kind of led to that. They've been the anchor to the whole thing.
Coach, you just mentioned this a moment ago, but asked the question. Philip from Hammond says, Coach, can you comment about Forcade and how tough he has been when the pocket breaks down?
Yeah, he's really good. I think that's one of the best things he does. He is a competitor, and he also probably plays his best football when it's on the line. And you notice that. He is more accurate in those 2-minute drills and things like that. In those games, when the game's on the line, he becomes he's one of those. Those are special players. Special players can do that. They have ability to take it to another level when everything's on the line.
Yeah, I had a chance to go to that game, first game of the year. Seems like forever ago now, but, actually it just seems like yesterday, but I know that was 10 weeks ago. And that's what he did. He brought them back there on the last drive of the game. They got the football back and went down and kicked the field goal to knock off McNeese back there in week 1. Coach, Damian from Kenner says, Coach, you talked a lot about the senior class that they'll be playing their last game this Thursday. How many mid-year signees are you looking to sign this season?
We should be signing 7. Yep, 7.
How do you come up with that number?
Well, it's based off of how many graduates you have at the midterm, and then how many you have, because you got to make the 63 equivalency. So it's really how much scholarships you have available open. So we're looking to find 7. I don't know if we will find 7. I don't know, but we could sign up to 7 guys. Now, I've got 2 committed already. I've got 2 committed. Well, one's actually a high school kid we signed last year. Our gray shirt and didn't bring him in, and the secondary kid. That will be coming in December. He's one, so he'll be one of the 7. Define
gray shirt for those who don't know what that is.
Gray shirt is you sign a high school kid, but he does not come in the fall. He comes at the midterm. Yeah. So he sat out. He sat out this fall, worked out, and those stuff. But we should bring him until now. And really, just take us to now, because now, and we did that. We've done it several times in the past. The benefit is the kid comes in. He gets spring ball, and he's still got 5 years to play for.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Gray shirt. So if you're listening at home, I know a lot of people have probably heard of red shirt, but not the gray shirt. So they sit out that first semester, and then they come in at the midterm.
They don't go to school the first semester out of high school.
All right, just an update from New Orleans real quick before we wrap up our show. Lions are trailing Tulane by 8 at halftime in men's basketball down there on the road for those that are listening. Ron, just a couple of minutes to go here on our show. Nicholls State this Thursday night. We've talked about it all night long. 6 o'clock kickoff in Strawberry Stadium. The game will be televised on CST and ESPN3, and always you can listen right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network, 90.9 KSLU, Cajun 107.1 FM, the Highway 104.7 FM, and WFPR 1400 AM. Coach, give us your final thoughts of the night as we head into the season finale. It's senior night in Hammond and an opportunity to finish your season on a positive note. A lot on the line this Thursday night.
Yeah, a great week. Obviously, I think anytime you talk about Nicholls and these rivalry games, what a great week for college, not just college football, but I think the universities in whole. Excited to get them up here. I mean, I know they're coming with their band and everything. It should be a great environment. It should be a great football game. We have an opportunity. Obviously, they're going. They're coming in here a ranked opponent, and we're looking to play our best football. So I think it should be an exciting football game. And again, we want to send everybody out on the right note, but we also got to take our next step forward and see how we're going to finish this season and propel us for 2018.
It's certainly a big one on Thursday night. We hope that you could be in that number. It ought to be a great night for football as the Lions and the Colonels do battle in the 27th River Bell Classic series, right now tied at 13 games apiece. That's going to do it for us. We want to thank everyone who came out here tonight and listened either live or also wherever you may be listening to in your vehicle, on your radio, anywhere, on your phone, on your smart device, on Facebook. We want to thank you for being a part of our show each and every Monday night. We will have our final show next Monday as we'll wrap up the season. We'll talk about the Nicholls game, get Coach's thoughts on maybe some off-season recruiting, and we'll wrap up the 2017 football season. That's going to do it for us. Once again, for Coach Ron Roberts, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next week right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody, and we'll see you Thursday night in Strawberry Stadium.